Wednesday, April 8th, 2020.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have minutes?
We do.
Motion to approve the minutes of the March 16th, March 18th, and March 30th commission meetings.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenango?
Yes. Are we ready for the public hearing?
Right, we have to make a motion to adjourn
Recess.
or recess.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenango?
Yes.
Now, we gotta need another motion to open up the public hearings for the Firelands Regional Medical Center refinancing.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenango?
Yes.
Okay, just I'm gonna real briefly, kind of go over what this transaction's all about with Firelands Regional Medical Center, and I gave you a little summary letter of what it is. Essentially, they issued some bonds back in 2017. They're looking to refinance these, lower the interest rate, and add an extension to the maturities. So this is the public hearing to do so. These are essentially, these are just a conduit bond. They do not apply to the indebtedness of Erie County, and you know, we have no responsibility for the payment of these bonds. The original there's nothing has changed as far as the original purpose of these bonds, so it still goes to the original issuance of them. And,
Okay. So what do you need, a motion?
We have a resolution.
then we have a resolution, right?
Is there anybody on the phone that wants to make a comment?
Is there anybody from
Do we have to?
Dinsmore?
I think we're going to open it up and then he's going to unmute their mics.
For this public, for the.
No.
Yeah.
Is there anyone here from Firelands?
No.
No.
Okay, all right, so let's read the motion.
Move for adoption resolution of Board of Commissioners authorizing the amendment of certain documents in connection with hospital facilities revenue funding and improvement bond series 2017.
Second?
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenango?
Yes. So make a motion, we go back into regular session, or, right?
Make motion to close this
Close
public
this
hearing.
Second. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenango?
Motion,
Now,
motion to reconvene.
yes.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenango?
Yes. Pete, you got some issues.
I believe we wanted to do public comment right at this point.
Okay,
Yeah, let's let Roger talk if he wants to.
go ahead, Roger.
Roger, you should be unmuted now.
Roger?
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 Roger.
Go ahead, Roger.
Hi guys, I just was checking in and really just let you know Apex is still out here working on stuff and working on with the power sighting board to get things underway as best we can, and we'll just keep you updated best we can.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any other public comment? Anybody else on here? John?
It's just nice to hear your voices.
We miss you.
Miss you too.
All right, anybody else? Okay. So Pete, you have some issues that you'd like to discuss with us?
Okay, last week, I think you guys are all aware, you know, we had the bulldozer down at the landfill go down, and there was, happened to be one in stock, so I went ahead and executed basically a credit application for financing. I do have those documents on my desk now to approve the actual financing, and it's essentially, it's a 5-year lease with a $1 purchase at the end, 3.35% interest, which is a good rate.
But we can pay it off whenever.
That is my understanding, yes.
Yep.
So I think there's a motion there to give myself authority to go ahead and execute the rest of these rest of the transactions.
Okay.
Yes, there's a motion.
We do have a motion up here.
Is that all your issues? You want us to do the resolution
It's just a motion.
or motion?
Motion, because
I gotta put it
these
together.
meetings are part of the documentation we gotta send into them.
Got it. So do you want to read the motion, Steve?
Motion to authorize County Administrator Pete Daniel to execute the lease agreement and other associated documents related to the Caterpillar D6 dozer for the Erie County landfill.
Second.
Mr. Schopfer,
Yes.
Mr. Old,
Yes.
Mr. Shenango.
Yes.
Okay, and also last week, again, I think you guys are aware that we have utility contracts for county buildings. We do electric power and we do a natural gas. We're renewing the electric power one. AEP was the lowest bid at 0.04091 per kilowatt hour. And that is 18% lower than what we're paying today.
And how long's the contract for? 1 year?
That's a 2-year fixed.
2-year fixed.
And it is 7% lower than the RFP that we originally got
Wow.
several months ago. So I think we did a pretty good job with that.
I'd say so.
Okay. There's some other documents that are gonna go through the meetings. You're gonna see on, we issued basically amendments, put in place the new, what the heck is this called? The Families First Coronavirus Response Act. There's 2 pieces to that. There's the emergency sick leave, which is 80 hours, and the extended or emergency family medical leave piece as well. So we went ahead and put together those policies. I went ahead and signed them under my authorization, Resolution 20-103. Distributed it out to all the departments under the commissioner's control, because these apply to that. One of the big things in there is you can elect to exempt essential personnel, and we did go ahead and spell that out as far as the staff at the Meadows, and in DOES, all our operators of record that we have to have. That's water, sewer collection, and sewer treatment, and all their substitutes. So we did that, and I sent that out to all their elected officials and say, hey, you can adopt this for your own office, or you can modify it or create a whole new one. But the key there is that you have to positively say who is exempt and who is not exempt. So we sent that out to everybody. And again, I think you're aware what we're doing today is we're, testing out a audio teleconferencing option here for the meetings. We could try to continue to do that if you will. I still believe that policy that we put in place as far as, hey, if you wanted to come to the meeting, make an appointment to come in the building, I think that still suffices. Again, if you guys know, you've got a lot of paperwork to go through. The powers you gave me doesn't allow me to do everything for the meetings, so I think it's still a necessity that we at least come in. I just think it would be quite difficult if we were gonna do these all remotely, if you're all sitting at your homes, then we'd have to essentially copy all these documents, get them to each one of you individually, and then do
Pete,
just remote.
I mean, Franklin County is meeting remote, so they must have the commissioners aren't coming in and signing 4 million papers. What CCAO had said on our conference call is that if the county has an electronic signature authorization, which I'm not sure that we do.
I don't think we do.
So we can adopt one of those. Somebody, maybe it's Tim, I don't know who officially adopts that, but the counties that had done it had not done it for their commissioners. So they've just made the commissioners authorized to use the electronic signature. I mean, if that is a way we want to go, CCAO is working that out to get a policy that everybody can comply with.
And I know, I mean, we're using the Zoom platform. I just read where, you know, one of their shareholders is suing them because of all the security breaches that their software has. And so I'm not sure if this is not necessarily the best platform we should be using.
Well, it's worse for the video because people are popping in and doing the same things, which you don't really want when your commission's meeting.
Well, I think the issue is we're all passing the same papers and same pens around. And I don't, you know, that's what scares me with you. You know, you're touching all this stuff.
Something happening to me or the lights going?
No, the lights are dimming.
Yeah, done.
That's a sign.
But you know, that's the issue, is we're all touching these same papers. And I don't think that's what the government wants done.
Probably not, but again, we're supposed to be taking precautions. If we're having symptoms, we shouldn't be here.
But that's not the point, is they've now proven that you don't have to have symptoms, and Steve could be the carrier giving it to all of us, including you.
And
And
I think-
I'm concerned about you, because if we lose you, I've told you this before, we got a problem.
I think too, if we have to sign, if there are legitimately things that we want to make sure that we sign and do things after the meeting, we can do that, come in at night when there's nobody here, make sure the documents are, I mean, we can do things
Yeah.
like that if we have to.
Exactly. And there's no reason we have to sign personal action forms. I don't need to initial the sheriff's office transportation of prisoners report. These are all forms we don't need to see. If, like Steve said, we want to review them, we're perfectly capable. If Carolyn sets them on the desk out there, we can come in individually, we can Purell our hands, we can look at our documents.
Well, they can all be scanned and sent to us electronically too.
That'd be a lot of papers, but yeah, electronic.
They scan all the papers anyway, after the meeting.
But-
It takes
And
5
if,
seconds.
and if we scan them, so it's literally an internal thing for us to see
Yeah.
before, then we don't have to worry about pulling out or redacting or doing anything, you know what I mean? They're just scanning it into a file and.
But
we
we don't
get
need
a
to
file.
sign this personal action form. You have authorization to sign that.
I believe I do.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
again, with the current rules, like, there's a payment to a contract that's over $100,000. I can't sign that under my current rules unless you wanted to amend those again, which is still gonna take board action to do that.
but 90%, Matt, of what he just, everything right here, he could have signed. We don't need to touch this.
Oh, I agree. Here, this one from the USDA says digitally signed by Robert Houghton.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's something we should probably look at to see on
I mean,
how that works or what that
I know
really
we've
means.
scheduled for every Wednesday this month. I mean, I'm thinking for sure we could
Some of
probably
these
cancel
you missed,
next
so I'm gonna
Wednesday's
put
meeting.
The ones that aren't done. I'll
We
just
did
throw
every
them
other
back.
week, I think we'd be fine.
I just Purell, so. Well, you know, I don't think we're setting a very good example for the rest of the community if we're still doing this, my opinion. I mean, I think, you know, they've told us to stay home. We should lead by example. And we're all sitting here in a room together, touching papers and sharing spit. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what you and Steve are doing.
Well, I have the chair barrier, but.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're at the at-risk age, you know, at least the four of us are. I don't want to put you guys in a position where, you know, something happens to you over.
Well, let's just look into the electronic signature. I mean, seems like a viable thing. It's somewhat surprising we don't have it already.
You know, especially you with Kay. You bring something home.
Oh, I know. I'm terrified of my wife and/or my mother.
Right.
86, good health now, but that's a real thing. And
Yeah.
And I understand, you know, the video side, the audio side. I get the pros and cons for that, but I trust Tim and his knowledge of what's secure, what isn't secure, what could easily be done, what probably shouldn't be done, and to be able to move forward through that. And again, even if we can't figure out a digital signature thing, we can certainly, if we need to make a plan because we do have to sign something, I can pick a night, come in at night at a certain time. I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable for us to deal with if we had to, and I would know I have an hour at this day, and I could have an hour, and Matt would have an hour, and
Well,
if we had to do that,
yeah.
that's not a,
Exactly.
These payroll transmittals, you're authorized to sign those. There's no reason our signature has to be on here. Maybe except yours.
So, some of those are over 100,000.
Well, Pete, couldn't we just change the figure?
Yeah,
And that-
yeah, we can kind of revise that again.
Yeah, I mean,
Try
that's,
to cover just about everything.
Well, why don't we revise it right now while we're here? What do you think you need? I'm looking at, none of these individual sheets we're signing are over 100,000. This one's 27,000, this one's 12,000. The only one would be nursing home, which is 145,000.
DOES
DOES is over.
Over 100.
when they.
So can we-
We did that by resolution, so we probably should amend
Amend.
it by resolution.
Amend,
The resolution giving you the authority up to
Right,
100,000.
right.
So, yeah, he was talking about doing a motion now. We could do
Well,
that
can you do a
motion.
resolution right now while we're
Well-
here?
Sure.
just take the old resolution, change the number, print it off.
well,
You want to add
okay,
resolution?
the only
Yes, I'll do that.
thing that I'm concerned with is, bid limits and emergency, purchases.
Those done.
Just need your signature.
Those are still, we'll still have dollar limits on it by law, under 30786.
What's the actual bid document? For,
Actual what?
Hank, I think you've got that,
103 resolution?
yeah, I mean, on your computer, right?
do we not have a big thick bid document to sign?
Right.
Or bond, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's got the resolutions up there.
Carolyn should have,
Huh?
Carolyn should have.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, somebody needs to go start working on it.
All right, well, I'll make a motion, we recess.
Okay.
Second?
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Shedikoff?
Yes.
Going live, 3, 2, 1.
I need a motion to reconvene.
So moved?
Second?
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shedikoff?
Yes. Okay, Pete, you want to wrap it up?
Okay, you know, I've been seeing things going around, emails from other county administrators on, and the CCO wanted to know what counties are gonna do with anticipation of more than likely loss of revenues. Primarily what I'm seeing is like hiring freezes, stopping capital projects, those type of things. I've also seen something from Montgomery County, which is near Dayton, that they're implementing essentially a 20% across the board budget cut immediately. Seems pretty drastic to me, but obviously they took a long look at this. I'd seen that email from their administrator, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, and now they're taking action, I believe, today.
What was the other county that did the cut? Montgomery?
Well, that's the one I'm just talking about, is Montgomery, which is Dayton.
So that was total budget of how much?
58, 59 million.
And they cut 18?
Cutting 18 million.
How does a county cut $18 million out of a $58 million budget?
You know, each county can be different, but I'm thinking for the most, you know, they're mostly people. I don't know how you do it without laying people off, to be honest with you.
A lot of people off.
A fair amount, yeah.
Well, 18 million worth of people, must be a lot of people.
I'm thinking so.
Well, I think, you budgeted 5% cut in our projection.
5% sales tax, 4% overall.
So I think that, I know you and I are working on for Lake Erie Shores and Islands, a projection depending on when the tourist industry opens back up. We're looking at what the bed tax is, and I think we're looking at May 1st.
May 15th.
May 15th, June 1st.
I mean, my first blush at this is May 15th.
June 1st.
June 1st and July 1st. May go out to August 1st.
We might want to go out
as
to
well.
August 1st too.
Yeah.
But I think that'll give us a peek into where, you know, predominantly our sales tax is gonna go. Casino tax will probably follow the same path, I'll bet. You know, it's mass gatherings, I would assume.
Right.
And of course, we know our investment income is going to be considerably down because of where interest rates
Yeah,
are going.
That one will all depend on when the economy begins to open
Yeah.
back up, essentially. Local government funds is basically a function of state revenues, so whatever hit the state is gonna take, that's the hit we're gonna take too.
Yeah. I've been on the phone with Marcy Capter's office and trying to figure out if we're gonna get any of this money from the feds, and it doesn't look promising.
I wouldn't count on it.
No. It's gonna go to cities over 500,000, which of course precludes us, and the balance will go right back to the state. And I know Matt had said, you don't think we're gonna see anything from the state. So I think we're on our own. Luckily, you know, we have reserves that we can use. I don't know what you guys think, but I certainly don't wanna have to lay people off, you know.
No, I agree with,
workforce.
I agree with that, and I think, and I'll say it again, the work that you guys in the last 5-10 years of building up that rainy day fund, whatever you want to call it, and also the cash reserves that we have, puts us in a position now where we don't have to deal with drastic issues here. But folks should also know that the timing was for our budget in general this year, right? We were waiting to approve it till the end of March, and we adjusted that significantly
5%,
already.
yeah.
So, but that's kind of done internally, so it didn't involve layoffs, it didn't involve big changes like that. And I think as we go through this, I mean, we're just not gonna know, as Pat said, you get a plan out middle of May, middle of June, middle of July, when does this get back to normal? And I think we can take that weeks at a time, months at a time on our behalf before we have to knee-jerk and make any big drastic changes to what we're doing. But just certainly let folks know we're aware of, you know, a major hiccup that's coming down the road, and we can address that, I think, as we need to.
You know, and that's just this year, and then, you know, I hate to say it, but you almost have to start thinking about, you know, the next year. I mean, we're gonna, usually at the end of this month, we're sending out information for the tax budget for next year's budget. So, I mean, that's not far
Yeah.
at all.
Well, we've made it a priority to prepare for a hit. We never thought we'd take a hit like this. You know, we were
Right.
thinking recession, not shutting down the entire economy, but, I mean, I certainly don't want to get into layoffs. But I do think we need to look at a hiring freeze going forward.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I would agree in principle with that. And then Pete as well, depending on the situation, because we do have essential workers, we've talked about it already, whether it's the nursing home or DOES and guys like that. I mean, we say hiring freeze in general.
In general, but it's gonna have to essentially be on a case-by-case basis.
Well, I know everybody's working with us right now. I mean, I think we didn't get any resistance, well, one, little resistance, but, you know, I think everybody understands the tricky situation we're in and the unknowns that we don't know, what's gonna happen. So I think, you know, at this point, we take it week by week and see where this all ends up, and obviously it's all dependent on when things open back up. You know, we're a tourist-driven economy. It's where we get a lot of our sales tax, bed tax from, and, you know, another thing Pete and I talked about was, and Rick Jeffries brought up, our auditor, is, you know, we've got a pretty healthy reserve in our insurance fund, and, you know, that potentially could be a source of help for us. You know, maybe do a holiday on some of the payments if it gets down to that. I think that'd be the last resort, but.
Yeah, that would be kind of a last resort type of thing that we want to consider.
You know, it's sure is ironic, isn't it, that we took so much flack from a lot of people over why do we have this big reserve fund, and all of a sudden that reserve fund doesn't look so big, does it?
Precisely.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll bring up too, I know another neighboring county of ours had their budget commission meet and talk about revenues, potential losses of revenues. Is that something we might want to see if we could look at from their perspective? I don't know how that process would work or not work, but.
The three elected officials who compromised that commission, you know, that's their duty to take a look at that. The auditor's the secretary, and then you have the treasurer and the prosecutor. Those are the members of that statutory commission.
I don't think it ever hurts to have another set of eyes and, you know, another set of numbers if they think they might have some information or might think about it. But it's just a big unknown. And again, it makes me feel better knowing that, I'm not going to say it's a perfect world for us and nothing's wrong at all, but we're in a better position than a lot of other counties right now, certainly in Ohio.
Sure.
So I think we can take it a couple of weeks at a time, a month at a time, without having to make any big knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to be in the position we are. Like you said, we worked really hard over these years to get us in that position. Again, you almost wish it would be better.
Well, we tried, we just got so much resistance.
Mhm.
You know, that was what happened. All right, anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
Resolutions?
Motion to approve a resolution of the Board of Commissioners for the purpose of adopting the Second Amendment authorizing the Erie County Administrator to perform in the board's absence all functions conferred or incumbent upon the board in case of a disaster or an emergency.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
And for folks who are still listening on there, that's why we took our brief recess, and it's basically adjusting what Pete, as our administrator, can do in our absence if we can't have two of the three of us at a meeting. Move for adoption resolution, Board of Commissioners, for the purpose of entering into agreement with the State of Ohio Development Services Agency.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption resolution, Board of Commissioners, for the purpose of authorizing the county auditor to make budget modifications.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption resolution, Board of Commissioners, for the purpose of declaring certain Erie County equipment surplus and ordering same to be sold by internet auction.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption resolution, Board of Commissioners authorizing the county auditor to make interfund transfers.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption resolution, Board of Commissioners, for the purpose of entering into an agreement with AEP Energy.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption resolution of the Board of Commissioners for the purpose of authorizing the county auditor to make a supplemental appropriation.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Move for adoption of resolution of the Board of Commissioners for the purpose of executing payment of then and now certification.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
And, I don't know, last one we have is engineers contract agreement. So Pete might want to,
I didn't see that.
Erin did it while I was gone. Did you not sign it?
I thought it was Job and Family Services.
No, that was last week.
Why don't we recess and let him
Oh,
look at
I
it?
did sign it, but
You want to look at it?
sure.
Let's go into recess.
Motion to recess.
second.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
And then I need a motion.
Gotta read the resolution.
I did
resolution.
the resolution, yes.
Move for adoption resolution of Board of Commissioners for the purpose of accepting the agreement reached between the Erie County Engineer and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees Council 8, AFL-CIO Local 1045.
Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
That's all I have. Is that it?
Okay, meeting schedules?
We
You guys gonna meet next week, or you wanna cancel?
We have 3 more meetings this month, because we have 5 Wednesdays.
Well, I would,
I think you should cancel.
yeah, what's the best way to do that? We should only really be meeting as needed.
Is there anything pending, big, thinking of, I get it, this is so open-ended.
What does it take to call a meeting?
All I have to do is, I let the press know that you have
Okay,
scheduled.
so let's
a meeting.
cancel all.
As long as it's on a Monday,
Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or
for the
Thursday.
regular meeting.
Yeah, so let's cancel all the remaining meetings for April. And do them as needed.
Okay.
So moved?
Yeah. Second.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Schaffner?
Yes.
Mr. Shenigo?
Yes.